should I talk about my class first? Or should I just... Okay, my class is 10th grade. We do 10th grade humanities, which is kind of a mixture between language arts and history, kind of all clumped together. Basic outline of the students, pretty low socioeconomic status. My school is an interesting, like, you have to get lottery in, and it's planted inside a neighborhood that you have to live in that neighborhood within walking distance to come to. This lesson is going to be specifically on going into a phase where we are going to create a speech, and it has to do with, we're going to do a debate. And so we're going to have to write, opening statements, closing statements, and then actually be able to debate with other people within the class. So what we're going to kind of go through is looking at debate stages, and then we're going to watch a text. So first off, I want to just do some brainstorming for what makes for good debate strategy, and then what components need to be inside a good opening statement. So if we can get some stuff on the board, that'd be good. Debate strategies.
Know your facts.
Okay, factual. Not always, but okay.
But you at least have to know some facts.
Yes.
Even if they're not all facts, you have to know some of the facts.
Yes, you do. All right, anything else?
Powerful speaking voice.
Okay. Cami?
Connect to your audience.
Okay. So connection.
Persuasion. Strong body language. I don't know if strong is the right word, but body language.
Body language. Okay, we'll just leave it with that to start. Hey, Delaney's late. Do you have a slip?
I do not.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to start by watching a little bit of the Democratic debate from about a month ago. I wanted to use the Republican and Democratic, but there's like 10 people running for the Republican nominee, so it just kind of wasn't going to happen. Martin O'Malley is fine, but I'm actually going to skip him, and we're just going to do Bernie and Hillary. Since they're the top voter. Why? No! Why Walden University?
Mark Senator Sanders.
As we're watching these two opening statements, I want you guys to look for what kinds of stuff do you see them doing in terms of body language, what kinds of things do you see them saying, how do they introduce themselves, what do they have in these 2.5 minutes that they're given, and how can maybe you guys use these when you're forming your opening statements for our debate here.
Anderson, thank you very much. I think most Americans understand that our country today faces a series of unprecedented crises. The middle class of this country for the last 40 years has been disappearing. Millions of Americans are working longer hours for lower wages, and yet almost all of the new income and wealth being created is going to the top 1%. As a result of this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision, our campaign finance system is corrupt and is undermining American democracy. Millionaires and billionaires are pouring unbelievable sums of money into the political process in order to fund super PACs and to elect candidates who represent their interests, not the interests of working people. Today, the scientific community is virtually unanimous. Climate change is real, it is caused by human activity, and we have a moral responsibility to transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy and leave this planet a habitable planet for our children and our grandchildren. Today in America, we have more people in jail than any other country on earth. African American youth unemployment is 51%. Hispanic youth unemployment is 36%. It seems to me that instead of building more jails and providing more incarceration, maybe, just maybe, we should be putting money into education and jobs for our kids. What this campaign is about is whether we can mobilize our people to take back our government from a handful of billionaires and create the vibrant democracy we know we can and should have. Thank you.
Senator Clinton.
Well, thank you, and thanks to everyone for hosting this first of the Democratic debates. I'm Hillary Clinton. I have been proud and privileged to serve as First Lady, as a senator from New York, and as Secretary of State. I'm the granddaughter of a factory worker and the grandmother of a wonderful one-year-old child. And every day I think about what we need to do to make sure that opportunity is available, not just for her, but for all of our children. I have spent a very long time, my entire adult life, looking for ways to even the odds to help people have a chance to get ahead. And in particular, to find the ways for each child to live up to his or her God-given potential. I've traveled across our country over the last months listening and learning, and I've put forward specific plans about how we're going to create more good-paying jobs by investing in infrastructure and clean energy, by making it possible once again to invest in science and research, and taking the opportunity posed by climate change to grow our
Thank you very much. Senator Sanders.
And it's an unbelievable America.
Privileged to serve as First Lady, as a senator of a wonderful one-year-old child. And every day I think about what we need to do to make sure that opportunity is available, not just for her, but for all of our children. I have spent a very long time, my entire adult life, looking for ways to even the odds to help people have a chance to get ahead. And in particular, to find the ways for each child to live up to his or her God-given potential. I've traveled across our country over the last months listening and learning, and I've put forward specific plans about how we're going to create more good-paying jobs by investing in infrastructure and clean energy, by making it possible once again to invest in science and research, and taking the opportunity posed by climate change to grow our economy. At the center of my campaign is how we're going to raise wages. Yes, of course, raise the minimum wage, but we have to do so much more, including finding ways so that companies share profits with the workers who help to make them. And then we have to figure out how we're going to make the tax system a fairer one. Right now, the wealthy pay too little and the middle class pays too much. So I have specific recommendations about how we're going to close those loopholes, make it clear that the wealthy will have to pay their fair share, and have a series of tax cuts for middle class families. And I want to do more to help us balance family and work. I believe in equal pay for equal work for women, but I also believe it's about time we have paid family leave for American families enjoying the rest of the world. During the course of the evening tonight, I'll have a chance to lay out all of my plans and the work that I've done behind them. But for me, this is about bringing our country together again. And I will do everything I can to heal the divides economically, because there's too much inequality, the racial divides, the continuing discrimination against the LGBT community, so that we will work together. And yes, finally, fathers will be able to say to their daughters, you too can grow up to be president.
Okay, so going back to here, what else can we add? What did we see?
The speaking was like really clear. It wasn't like, they spoke really well.
Okay. I'm gonna put like an asterisk on powerful speaking, or mastery of the language.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Send an asterisk. Stop her. Okay. Just shout it out. Anything else?
Then appeal to emotion.
Okay. Did you guys see differences in perhaps body language?
Hillary is very personable in her body language. She stands up tall and she's like looking around, like looking in the eye. Bernie Sanders kind of just punches and shouts a little bit, but he doesn't make him like less relatable. But when you're watching it on TV, it's a little off-putting.
I kind of like that he is like kind of reflecting the people that he is targeting, you know, like he's targeting people that are like, we have all these intense, serious issues going on, and he makes sure to like reflect that same attitude towards the people that he wants to connect with.
Yeah, so knowing your audience. And this is actually really big. And it's key to understand in terms of body language, but if you looked at them, Bernie does a lot of, there's a lot of this motion, but if you notice his hand, when he makes his points, he points like this. Hillary is mostly either like this or like this. She'll make these motions, which are much more open. Bernie, especially if you add it with his fiery eyes, seems more like he's like shouting something. So those are like really big things to keep a hold of. Another is how they actually lay out their argument. Bernie comes out and he states fact, 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 argument. Or in other words, here's a bunch of stuff that's wrong. Here's how I want to fix it. Hillary comes out and she actually starts with her argument first. She starts by saying, we're going to do this to fix it, which a lot of people see as a lot more, in terms of people actually not getting like, oh, they're a little abrasive. It seems a little bit more friendly. So I want to lay out some basic stuff to keep in mind in terms of when we're laying out our opening statements. Good components of an opening statement. Must have an introduction. There needs to be some sort of, Hillary did a great job. She got up there, she said, I'm Hillary Clinton. She laid out her credentials. First Lady, Secretary of State, Senator from New York. She laid out her credentials, everyone knew her. She also tied her identity back a little bit in terms of family. Second thing is there's got to be clear arguments. There's got to be a reason you're actually on that stage. There's got to be a reason you're debating. So being able to lay out your clear arguments is crucial. And then the third part, backing it up with evidence. So when you guys are debating, I'm expecting that you will have a good introduction, you will follow it up with an argument or multiple arguments. Every argument comes with evidence and facts, and this is all from what we've been reading, what we've been researching in your civilizations. And then finally, some sort of closing. And that's where you wrap it all together. That's your selling point. Why, this is great that you've said all this stuff, but why do we care? Why does any of it matter? Why is your proposal the proposal we should actually follow? Okay, so for the rest of class, we are going to be doing a little bit of this. So grab out your research from last week, and we're gonna go through it all. We're gonna come up with 5 arguments, and then each argument has to have at least 2 pieces of evidence to back it up, okay?